Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? Yo, peep gang. Man. Once again, I gotta respond to the video, man. My man, I don't know how to pronounce the dude's name. Imran TV. So I don't know. Like I said, he looks like he's a cat of Middle Eastern descent, but I think he was born and raised in the UK. I could be wrong if it's not Middle Eastern descent. If it's not, I'm sorry. It's just that look. You look like a cat who comes from that country, from that lineage. So if not my fault, I apologize. And this ain't a shot at him or nothing like that. No way, man. Because I dig his content. I dig his content. I'm a subscriber to his channel. I think he has a dope analysis and a very unbiased analysis, and that's something that I try to keep myself on, man. But he did say something that kind of took me back, and that was Anthony Joshua isn't an elite fighter. And he gave his breakdown of what it means to be elite, but I'm like, I get that, you dig? I most definitely get that, man. But it's also like, while what he was saying was, it was pretty much the caliber of competition that the cats fought. The Ray Leonards, the Haglers, the Hearns, the Durans, Ali, Roy Jones Jr. They've had, I think with them, that, well, not even, except, Ali and people of that ilk and George Foreman and shit. When you look at the cats beneath, like, cats who are, who can always move up a weight, they have a lot more wiggle room because they can go up and conquer different divisions. They can go and test their skill in different divisions. When you're at heavyweight, you don't have that luxury. You really don't. So if you grow to be 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and you're just a brolic, beefy motherfucker who decided you want to box, there's nowhere you can go. It's literally nowhere. You even cruiserweight, you wouldn't be able to comfortably go and, what I'm saying, drop the cruiserweight and get busy down there. So I think I get what he's saying. I do. I most definitely get what he's saying. But when you look at Anthony Joshua, because I think what a lot of people do is what a lot of people do, yeah, this is it. What a lot of people do, I've noticed that Tyson Fury gets all this praise and admiration because of how big he is and how gracefully he moves in the ring. And because of that, he's placed in a certain prestige mantle within the heavyweight division when he hasn't proven it amongst the cream of the crop. Like, I would say his most skilled opponent that he's beat is Otto Wallin. Well, nah, Klitschko as well. Klitschko and Otto Wallin, those are his best. Because I think Otto Wallin is very underrated and slept on, man. Like, he really surprised me in that Dominic Brazil fight. He really surprised me. I was like, yo, okay, he might actually be a factor. But Tyson Fury gets this praise and admiration for what he's done thus far, and really it comes from how he was able to dismantle Deontay Wilder. And everybody is really gung-ho about how bad he beat Wilder, because Wilder's been deemed the boogeyman. And it's like, Wilder hasn't really proven, he hasn't proven to be a boogeyman. You dig? I was arguing with one of my homies, and he was like, man, how many mandatories has Wilder fought? And I'm like, he hasn't fought a mandatory. He's fought all voluntaries. They tried to bring up Brazil. Brazil was a voluntary who was already disfigured by Anthony Joshua. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, Wilder is it's a good win, most definitely, man. But Wilder hasn't been in it. Luis, like I said it before, Luis Ortiz is his best win, and even more so than Bermane Stiverne. And Luis Ortiz gets this level of, this boogeyman status because no one wanted to fight him, and Wilder was the only nigga who reached out and down in the dumps and said, yo, man, I got you. Let's get this on. Let's run that. This is a quality win nonetheless, but Luis Ortiz hasn't really made the accomplishments that would consider that an elite win. He just hasn't. So when you look at all of that, and then you get to Tyson Fury, it's like, why is Wilder such this high priority win over everybody? Why is it that Wilder gets that mantle, or why is it that Fury gets that mantle of being the baddest heavyweight in the division because he beat Deontay Wilder, when Deontay Wilder has yet to go through mandatories and top opposition? And a lot of people do this shit, and it's a way to they do it as oh man, Fury can't, or Joshua can't beat Fury because Fury is this and that and the third, and I'm like, well, what is it that you see from Joshua that makes you think that he can't beat Fury? Oh, he's too robotic, he's this and he's that, and I'm like, I can't argue that too much because of his build. He's a beefy dude. This dude is like 200. You can tell he likes to lift weights. He loves to lift weights, clear as day. He's a big dude, and he gets off on his physique. That's what he's about. So you can see the robotic way, the robotic movements, and I can see why people would say that. But there's also shit that he does that no other heavyweight does. I'm going to keep referencing this because nobody wants to. I don't see heavyweights throw step back right hands. I don't see that. I don't see that. I do not see heavyweights doing step back right hands. I don't see it. He has good head movement, man. He has a really good jab. And the thing is, when you look at Fury is, as good of a boxer that Fury is, he has been clipped by cruiserweights. That shit can't go unnoticed. Otto Wallin was able to cut this man. And Otto Wallin isn't, as far as heavyweight standards are concerned, he's not known as a beastly power puncher like that. He's just not. That's not his game. He's a boxer to the core, but he was able to cut Tyson Fury, and damn near, if Tyson Fury is anybody else, that fight is stopped. You got to call it down the middle. So I don't think I think that shit is whack how we keep doing that with with Anthony Joshua. It's always a means to kind of take a dig and a shot at Anthony Joshua. And I'm like, bro, what is it y'all are looking at that's making y'all say that this dude is not an elite fighter? Clearly he is. He's a unified world champion, and he's been trying to go undisputed for the longest, but he just keeps getting hit with these hurdles. Anthony Joshua he honestly is a complete boxer, but even with him being a complete, because he's proven that he can do both. Even though fighting off of the back foot isn't his strong suit, he's proven that he can do it. He can use lateral movement and stick the jab from the outside. His feet aren't as good as Fury's, but he most definitely has that in his repertoire. He's not a counterpuncher like Tyson Fury is, but he can counterpunch. And I'm talking calculated counters, not just in the middle of exchange, we just swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging. No, calculated countering. Oh shit, this was turn right here, goddamn it. But he, it's always a dig at my man Anthony Joshua. It's always a dig at him. And I'm like, yo, dude, man. He said he doesn't have an elite fighter on his resume. And I'm like, man, I disagree with that. And I think people once again are really rating Alexander Usyk at a level that in which he was at as a cruiserweight. As he starts to climb up in the rankings in the heavyweight division, I don't think he's going to be able to deal with a lot of these cats as easy as y'all are saying. Because that was not an easy fight with Derek Chisora. And Derek Chisora is a dude that's going to come to fight. Derek Chisora isn't. Derek Chisora is, it's no jab he's working behind. He's coming to maul you. He's coming to maul you. Anthony Joshua likes to pick you apart at a distance, a comfortable range to where he can work behind the jab. That's what Anthony Joshua is about. And he had, you know, Derek Chisora was somewhat dealing fits. He was dealing fits. And that's cool. Maybe he, you know, maybe he needed to go through that trial and tribulation with fighting a Derek Chisora to be able to deal and cope with the pressure of other heavyweights. Because Derek Chisora is considered a small heavyweight. And he's 6'2". That's not small at all. And height-wise. You know, height-wise. I'm saying, like, when you say elite, you have to look at the competition available. You have to look at the competition available. You have to look at how these cats that he's beating stack up with the other competition available. Dillian Whyte is clearly an elite fighter. Elite heavyweight. Elite heavyweight. And I didn't like how he also said, you know, Alexander Povetkin, and, you know, he kind of denigrated the wins against Povetkin and Vladimir Klitschko, because, you know, due to age. I don't think that's right, because when he fought Alexander Povetkin, he was younger than what Gennady Golovkin is today, and you think Golovkin would beat Charlo? Shit, so do I. But I don't think you could, you know, age. People, you know, people come, you know, people deal with attrition. People's body takes to attrition differently. Alexander Povetkin was a very credible win. He was very game when he fought Anthony Joshua. Look at what he was able to do to Dillian Whyte. Attrition played some sort of a role in how Dillian Whyte was destroying that man early on in them rounds in their first fight? I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. But look what he got, in my opinion, scored the knockdown of the year. Scored the knockdown of the year. So I think you do a disservice to an Anthony Joshua when you, oh man, Vladimir Klitschko was 41 and Alexander Povetkin was 38. Oh shit, Earl Spence is about to fight a 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Age isn't necessarily the end-all be-all. For most it is, but you're always gonna have those special vessels who can stand the test of time. B-Hop, Manny Pacquiao, George Foreman. You're gonna have those. Golovkin, he's still getting busy. Chocolatito, you're gonna have those. You're gonna have people who are just up there in age. Look at the, you know, the women boxers. Oh fuck. I can't think of her name. I can't think of her name. But it's women who are, they're fighting and they're at an accelerated age. I don't know how old my baby Hannah Gabriels is. Oh my God, I love Hannah Gabriels. Whew. But I think she's older. She may be 35, 36. I'm 34. She's older than me. So you can't necessarily just, oh man, he's 30. And I don't think that shit is right. I don't. You'd have a point if they just went in there and got, like everybody knew when Dillian Whyte faced off with Alexander Povetkin again in the rematch, you clearly saw, yeah, Povetkin is done right here. Povetkin is done right here. He's done. But when you look at Klitschko when he fought Anthony Joshua, he was very much so on his toes. He was very much so on his toes. Very. He looked good in that fight. He looked good. Alexander Povetkin, another one. He was on his toes. He was able to close distance with that lead left hook. No behind, no jab. Lead left hook. I don't think it's right that we in. I just don't like Anthony Joshua to get all the fucking flack thrown on it. I don't like that, man. Every time I see that, I gotta respond and come to the aid of my brother. You dig? And I think he gets a bad rap, and he really started getting the scrutiny that he's getting after he knocked out Vladimir Klitschko. After that, it was all just it was hate galore. It was hate galore, and a lot of it is said, you know, it's predicated on Wilder fans. which is understandable. Oh man, I'm going for the American. I can understand that. I'm going for the better boxer, unless the better boxer is on some bullshit. I was a big Sergey Kovalev fan until he got on that bullshit. I'm good. I wasn't a fan of Tyson Fury, but I enjoyed watching Tyson Fury fight up until he got on the bullshit. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you ain't on the bullshit and you're a black American fighter, I'm riding with you. But if it's two Americans, you know, I'm gonna have to pick sides to a certain, to a certain degree. You dig? When Earl Spence went up against Danny Garcia, I'm riding with Spence, because I'm just not a fan of Angel Garcia. I don't like Spanish motherfuckers who be talking that nigga shit. I don't. You dig? And I'm not a fan of Teofimo's daddy neither. I don't like that shit. But Teofimo's pops wasn't as boisterous and problematic as Angel. So I fucks with Teofimo. I don't hear Teofimo talk that nigga shit. He from New York, I'm sure he probably does, but just as long as I don't hear it, you got a supporter in me. Or I don't hear you saying it. I can't fuck with his pops though. Motherfucking Bud and Spence. Bud, that's hometown right there. He's from the soil. I'm going with Bud. So unless it, if Bud fights with, Bud was a fighter, Conor Ben or something, I gotta ride with the champ. I gotta ride with the champ. I gotta ride with the champ. Unless, not even no unless. You dig? Now, if Conor Ben was to face off with a Keith Thurman, I don't know. I'd have to, let's go look at their fights and see how they, their last performances were. And that'd dictate who I think is going to win. You dig? That's what that is, man. But Anthony Joshua was getting a lot of hate after the Deontay Wilder, debacle. When all that shit started going down, that's when niggas start getting crazy with the disrespect. Oh, he ducking, he doing this and that and the third, yada, yada, yada. And now, anytime somebody gets an opportunity to take a dig at him, they do. And you could be like, I'm a fan of him, but this and that. It's just always, with all the proof in the pudding that's provided for people nowadays, he's still deemed as a duck and all this extra shit. And I'm just like, this shit is wild style. This is wild. So I don't know, man. I think I understood what my man was saying. Imran, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't. My fault on that. I fuck with your channel. I think you got really good content, and I dig the fuck out of your analysis. I real life do. I do. I'm a subscriber of y'all. Subscribe to your channel. I fucks with you. But when I saw that, I was like, no. I gotta speak on that. I think at the moment, Anthony Joshua has proven himself to be an elite fighter. Has he had a legacy-defining fight? No. There isn't too many heavyweights that's going to provide him that unless he goes undisputed. Canelo is in a position where, he's 5'8", you dig? And he can fight up to 175. Shit, maybe even cruiserweight, depending on how tall the motherfucker is. Nah, not cruiserweight. 175. But he has the ability to, all right, cool, I can clean this division out, go up another division, clean this division out, go up another division. He has wiggle room to do that. Anthony Joshua has been trying to get this, get this working with these cats, and they don't want to oblige him. It's always something else. He's proven himself. He's proven himself to be an elite fighter. He really has. Whether you like it or not, you may think he's a bit robotic. You may think that, and I'm not mad at you for thinking that. He's a big, beefy motherfucker. 245-pound solid muscle, yeah. He's brolic. He wants to get in the gym. He wants to lift weights. He wants to walk around bulky. It's understandable why people say he's robotic. But what happens when he puts on a boxing clinic? He's running now. When he fights off of the back foot, he's running. You just want him to sit there and just bang. You can't, he can't win, he can't lose. He's a loser. Unless he goes in there and puts Wilder in a fucking body bag. He's always gonna be. It's always gonna be something. He could beat Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was a cheat anyway. And it's just always something, man. It's always something. So I just had to speak on that, man. I get what my dude is saying. He's not there. He can't be mentioned with the likes of them cats. I mean, look, Canelo has had a multitude of, like, Cotto, Golovkin. Just he's been able to fight the elites, and I think the faces over here are a lot more. You know, they're a lot more potent over here. Like the I don't know what it is about America, man. It's just America just seems to be the pinnacle within society. You dig? I think it's just the culture over here, everything that, you know, just our lingo, our culture that we created and cultivated over here in this country. You dig? It's people who come over here and they think, oh man, I'm gonna make it because I'm in America. It's the greatest, like, it's the greatest place to live on earth. It is. You dig what I'm saying? A lot compared to a lot of other countries where, you know, deprived economies. I get all of that, man. So that shit is gonna carry over into every aspect of just society, whether it's sports, entertainment, culture, anything is gonna carry over. So because we have the social status that we have, just people tend to put this America under this spotlight, and we just do everything bigger. It just seems like it's bad. In all actuality, it's like, man, them cats over there in Europe, they get busy. They have a multitude of great fighters over there in Europe. They have a multitude of great fighters over there in Asia, specifically Japan and the Philippines. You know, it's dope fighters all over the place, but America is just. So with that being said and done, man, it's just a lot of people can't widen their scope outside of the, you know, the North American continent. You dig? And it's just like, yo, man. I don't know. So when we get a Deontay Wilder, he gets put on this high pedestal as opposed to what Anthony Joshua is doing over there with all his accomplishments. You know, it's just kind of, I think it's really unfair and disingenuous, man. But nonetheless, it is what it is, man. Anthony Joshua has proven himself to be an elite fighter. He has. His levels to be an elite. Levels of being the elite. All elite fighters don't share the same attributes within their fighting style. Golovkin is an elite fighter. He does not share the same characteristics as a Canelo Alvarez. He doesn't. Danny Jacobs is an elite fighter. He doesn't share the same attributes as a David Benavidez. These are elite fighters. These are elite fighters. Caleb Plant, another elite fighter, if you ask. Like, the dude, I mean, his skill set is incredible. His skill set is incredible. You know, all fighters aren't created equal. I think Golovkin is a huge example of that. He's a huge, because he's a, like, he has shit that, you know, he has, I don't want to say holes. I'm not going to say holes. But if you can push him back, he's a bit vulnerable. He's a bit vulnerable. Now, the amount of resistance you have to go through in order to push him back, that's what makes him such an elite fighter. Because you have to get past a well-timed jab. You have to get through hard punches. You have to get through a multitude of things to be able to push him back. Joshua, you have to get through a jab. He has all of the punches. He has a left hook. A lead left hook. He has a beautiful jab. He has a nice tool. He has a devilish uppercut. He has all of these tools in his tool bag. He can fight off of the back foot. He has these tools in his disposal. He's not the sleek defensive fighter of Canelo. He's not the sleek defensive fighter of a Shakur Stevenson or a Tyson Fury or Devin Haney or Vasily Lomachenko. He's not none of that. He's not a switch hitter like our beloved Terrence Crawford. But he brings an array of tools to a match that sets him apart from everybody practically. So I gotta disagree with my man respectfully. I don't want nobody to think that's just a video that I'm sending at him, man. I don't, because that's not the case. I fucks with your channel, homie. And, you know, but I had to come and address that. So, like and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think, man. Peace.